What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the Simply Car Things YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video as always. And before we get into it, if you could go ahead and smash the thumbs up button as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel down below, I would appreciate that immensely. Now, let's dive into the topic of today's video, which is coilover suspension setups for your sports car, and I guess more specifically your BMW M, because that is primarily what a lot of my content focuses on with this channel. Now, if you had seen my previous video, which I will throw a card to up at the top of the screen here, you will have noted that I recently got a set of Bilstein Club Sport coilovers installed on my M4. And I was thinking about, what am I going to do for my next video? I'm not going to give you guys a driving impressions and driving review just yet because, quite frankly, I just haven't had enough time with the suspension on my car to give you guys a full proper review. And ideally, I'd really love to get a track day in to get some track impressions as well, and not just, with driving on the street. So, I need more time with the suspension to really give you guys a proper review. If I just, installed it like I did last week and then the next day I come out with a review video, well, I feel like everything that I would say in that video you would have to take with a grain of salt because I just don't have enough time, and you need time to really get a feel for a proper suspension setup, especially when it comes to the aftermarket world. But nevertheless, over the years, I've had so many people DM me on social media, right in the YouTube comment sections, about aftermarket suspension upgrades and different methods of lowering your car, different methods of increasing the handling benefits of your car. And quite frankly, I see a lot of misconceptions, whether it be through lowering springs or a Haas kit like height adjustable springs, or with coilovers. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm some mechanical engineer or some pro race car driver that just knows a ton. I'm still learning just like all of you guys, but over the last few years, I have taken up a pretty heavy interest in tracking. I've connected myself with a lot of people that I would say are very experienced and vetted in this field. And I have learned a lot of knowledge, which I do want to share with you guys in this video. The first and most primary aspect about suspension that I want to talk about is that a lot of people make this blind assumption that just by slapping on lowering springs or slapping on coilovers, they're instantly going to see handling benefits from their car and the OEM suspension sucks. And to be honest, I was guilty of this same notion myself. I was always under the impression that just because these lowering springs, they're going to make the car feel a lot better. They're going to make it handle better, reduce body roll, blah, 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 whatever. The reality is that is just not the case. With BMWs, especially, when we're talking like an M car, like an M3 or an M4, guys, we have to remember that these are $70,000, $85,000, however much they were back when they were brand new. This was an expensive car. And the BMW M engineers were engineering a sports car. They tested for hours, thousands of miles on the Nürburgring, fine-tuning the suspension characteristics and the suspension geometry to make a good sports car. The OEM suspension, in many, many cases, is actually extremely capable, far more capable than a lot of people, would like to give it credit for, both on the street and even on track scenarios. Unless if you're just somebody that wants to slam your car, you just want the low look, just specifically for looks, well then, sure, put whatever you want on there and just get the low look. But at the same time, you have to be aware that you're sacrificing, quite possibly, a lot of handling benefits and functionality of the suspension. And when it comes to purchasing a proper aftermarket suspension setup for your car, if you do decide to go that route, which yes, there are many options and there are many good viable options that do provide benefits, you just have to understand what you are looking at and what you are looking for. Now, things that I personally have tried to cover in my videos that I think are really important when it comes to discussing suspension are the types of springs that you're going with, differences between like linear springs and conical style springs, progressive spring rates versus linear spring rates, camber plates, what are the benefits of negative camber, the differences between monotube dampers and twin tube dampers, internal reservoirs, external reservoir, what even are reservoirs for your suspension, divorced versus true rear coilover setups. There is so much that goes into this, guys, and at the end of the day, you really get what you pay for. If you decide to cheap out on a set of $1,500 Taiwanese-made coilovers, you're really more likely than not, you're not going to be doing your car justice that it deserves on track, or even just from a performance-focused standpoint, because you're cheaping out. I'm just trying to get at the fact that you get what you pay for in the car world, especially when you start getting into more premium focused cars. When we're talking F8XMs and Porsches and, you know, higher end European sports cars, the complexities behind the suspension engineering only continue to increase. The other thing that I see too that is a common misconception is that people love to just install their suspension and then just go on driving their car hard as hell without doing anything like an alignment. They don't get their car corner balanced, and they have this placebo effect that their car is handling better. And maybe it is to some degree because of a lowered ride height or, you know, improved damper quality or whatever the case is. It is one thing to change the hardware of the suspension itself. It's also a completely other beast to calibrate the suspension. And when you do install a new suspension, whether it's something as simple as springs or something as complex as like 3-way adjustable coilovers, you need to be getting an alignment. And in the case of coilover suspension, you need to be also getting a corner balance. These benefits will help you tremendously. Increased negative camber will help you in the corners. Learning how positive or negative toe settings can also affect your car, and making sure that the weight distribution of your car on the diagonal corners from front to back with a corner balance, everything is all calibrated properly so that you're not getting induced understeer or oversteer, and your car is going to be predictable and handle just as you would expect it to handle. And the truth is, I have so many people, especially on Instagram, that'll DM me and they'll just say, well, like, what's the best suspension for my car? Or like, what about these springs versus these springs? It's so hard to give like a proper answer because there's so many variables and factors that you have to take into consideration. Your driving style, what kind of driving will you be doing? Are you looking for comfort? Are you looking for straight performance and handling benefits? Do you want tons of adjustability with rebound and compression and low speed compression, high speed, whatever? Like, there is just so much that goes into this, and it's not as simple or straightforward as most people think. And that's just what I'm trying to get at. I know I'm kind of all over the place with this video, and I'm really not trying to go on a tangent. That is the truth behind coilover suspension. You need to educate yourself, and you need to make sure that you understand what you are putting into your car. Maybe to some of you, this video and this entire topic might just seem like common sense, and you're probably getting mad at me thinking, what the hell are you talking about? But I promise you, at least in my experience, a lot of people do not know this stuff, and they really have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to suspension. So that's why I made this video, and I just wanted to make sure that people are educating themselves, because you need to be knowledgeable so that you're putting in the right hardware into your car and you're actually seeing the benefit of it, and you're not just wasting money. Because trust me, I've done that. Take it from my experience. Maybe I'll make a separate video down the road, but I have wasted money on suspension kits. I have wasted money on not putting the right products into my car. And at the end of the day, the only way to fix it is by going back and redoing it all over again. Anyway, that is sort of my rant. That is my honest discussion disclaimer video. I hope you guys found it enjoyable or informative. I hope you guys took some value from this as well. And maybe, prompt you guys to do some more research if you're not doing enough research already. Because I really just wanted to make this for the sake of the community and the sake of my viewers. So you guys know how so much of my content tries to be informative and tries to just educate. And yeah, I wanted to put that out there for you guys. So again, if you could go ahead and smash the thumbs up button, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel down below, I would appreciate that very much. And with all that being said, guys, stay tuned, because I got a lot of content coming in the near future. So much is coming in for the M4. I cannot wait, guys. And I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy, my friends. Bye-bye.